blaze, dubbed the Lake Fire, is about 5% contained as of now. And this weekend, President Barack Obama is expected to make his 5th trip since 2013 to the Coachella Valley, which has become one of his favorite golfing spots. While there's been no official White House confirmation, Palm Springs International Airport has been told to expect Air Force One this Saturday. The president is in Los Angeles today for Democratic National Committee events. Tomorrow he will be speaking to the U.S. Conference of Mayors in San Francisco and attending Democratic events there on Friday. Inland Empire weather, sunny and hot tomorrow, just like today, but even warmer. Highs expected to reach 100. Overnight lows 63. Right now it's about 96 degrees here in San Bernardino. I'm Di Rice on KCAA. This report has been brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. Winston Churchill's words stirred his country in the face of defeat. Today, they inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Go ahead and say it. We're all ears. AM 1050 KCAA.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side.
Smart Health Talk radio show. That's what you're listening to right now, everybody. And you're listening to it right here on KCAA 1050 AM. That's right. The station you want to listen to if you want to get the information that is going to change your life. That's right. That's the kind of thing we promise right here on Smart Health Talk, because we have it. That's what we have. You go back and you find us on kcaaradio.com and listen to our podcast, and you'll see. I'm telling you the truth, because we have information in those podcasts that most definitely could change your life. And we have had some of the most interesting guests just in the past few months, including a whistleblower, a USDA whistleblower, previous USDA whistleblower, working with another USDA whistleblower on millions of bee deaths that have been happening in Massachusetts. And we know that this is happening right after they're spraying pesticides. I mean, and you're just seeing the bees slowly dying, painful deaths, and just millions of dead bees everywhere. So this is a huge red flag, everyone. And I want to get a shout out to Ed Begley Jr. I saw you on Bill Maher, and you did a great job of talking about bee colony collapse disorder and what's happening with our bees. Thank you so much, Ed. And I want to let you know that I have a guest on the line right now. We want to get to him because he's got a tight schedule. And we were just talking about bees. And guess what we get to talk about next? Butterflies. Bees and butterflies. How's that a great way to start off the show? I mean, who does not love bees and butterflies? But, you know, the sad thing is, you know, I had to just tell you the news about the deaths of millions and millions of bees as a result of pesticides. But there is many more victims and casualties that are happening every single day as a result of spraying these pesticides. And these are the good guys, everyone. These are the insects. We do love insects. Think about it. We love insects. You know, yes, we hate them too. And there are some like really nasty ones out there, but there are some that are the most incredible creatures on this planet, like butterflies and bees and all that they do for us. And we have an expert we're going to introduce on our show today, and we hope to have him back. I'd like to even have him back next week, because I'd like to do something really special with him for our listeners. And I want to welcome Christopher to our show. And Christopher, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your organization and a little something about what you guys do there, because it is so freaking incredible, everyone. You have just got to stay tuned and hear about Christopher and everything he does, because it's so awesome and so positive. Okay, go for it, Christopher. Tell us what you do and your name, full name.
Hi, it's Christopher Singer, and it's the Live Monarch Foundation. And I want to thank you, Elaine, for giving me the opportunity to find a new audience. And pretty much what we do is we give everybody, through low dollars, low effort, and low time involvement, almost instant gratification, which is what you're all about at that radio show, right?
That's right. That's what people want today, but it's not. But hey, if you could have instant gratification and make the world a better place at the same time, now that's the kind of thing that I like finding out about. And that's exactly what you guys have to offer, Christopher. And that's why I'm so excited about it.
Dispel some of those illusions, because it does take a little tiny bit of effort. You have to plant a seed, and it could be anywhere. You can find dirt in your backyard, your neighbor's yard, up the street from you. So there's
what kind of? Wait a minute. What kind of seeds are you talking about?
Oh, magic seeds, magic milkweed seed. Milkweed is the only food source for the monarch butterfly larva. So those caterpillars that turn into butterflies, they have to eat something, and it's only milkweed. Now, there's a lot of different types of milkweed, so don't worry about that, but it's in high demand across the United States. For some reason, I've heard rumors about millions of tons of pesticides and herbicides going into the environment, killing all the milkweed, but maybe that's part of the cause. But there is a dire shortage. Years ago, like not even that long ago, 20 years ago was the high, when there were literally hundreds of millions of monarchs, more than there are now. The story of the monarchs is really, really interesting. Every year they have an annual migration that goes all the way from the middle of Mexico, if you're on the eastern side of the Rockies, or on the western side of the Rockies, they go from South California up to Northern California and then back, and they overwinter in the trees. So on the eastern side, you got anywhere between 100 and several hundred million monarchs that every year make a colossal 1,500-mile
1,500 miles, a little butterfly is flying.
Not always the same butterfly. Yeah, sometimes it's their kids or the kids of the kids of the kids. In fact, there's usually about 6 generations every year that go all the way from the middle of Mexico up in the mountains. Some people might have heard it's been on the news a lot, especially this year, and they're even trying to protect the butterfly as a possible endangered species. Not so much that the butterfly is going to disappear, but there's a huge, huge problem with enough milkweed to sustain the monarch along its historical route.
Oh, really? It's that bad? It's that bad, Christopher?
Yeah, well, let's just say if you woke up one day and 96% of your neighbors were dead or weren't there anymore, would you get a little nervous?
Heck yeah.
That's what happened. That's what's happened to the monarchs over the last 20 years.
That many butterflies are gone? That many? I mean, in numbers, what are we talking about here?
Well, what we're talking about is, let's say in 1991, they approximated 280 million monarchs overwintering in the hills of Mexico. So that's approximately one monarch for every person living in the United States at that time. Okay, we're 13 years later, and now we're 96% less overwintering from last year. So that's exactly true. 96% of your neighbors are no longer around. And, monarchs are pretty good. They're pretty prolific. They can have lots of babies, but they need the place to do that. And what's their habitat? Your backyard, farmer's field, anywhere where milkweed can grow. Milkweed's a pretty easy plant to grow. It's spread by seeds. Sometimes it's spread by roots, too. Sorry about the wind here. Anyway.
Well, I saw a monarch today in my yard. It was so awesome, and I also saw a white butterfly and one of those little tiny yellow ones that I used to see a lot of when I was a kid, and I hardly ever see them anymore. But
you have milkweed?
Well, see, that was the thing. That's the reason I found you guys to begin with is I couldn't tell milkweed from a dandelion. Well, I know what a dandelion looks like, but to tell you the truth, I wouldn't know what milkweed looks like. I couldn't tell you, oh, that's milkweed. And so I started searching to find out what is a milkweed plant, because I was pulling the weeds in my yard and I was trying to leave some dandelions, but I also wanted to leave, I didn't want to pull any milkweed. And I thought, I don't even know if any of these weeds are milkweed or not. But you have so much incredible information on your website, and just, learning about the different kinds of milkweed. I was surprised at how beautiful it can be. Yeah,
it's actually used as a cut flower sometimes at some florists.
I could totally see that because I was thinking the very same thing, that I could display that in my house. It was so beautiful. And, and are they hard to grow though?
No, actually milkweed's one of the easier
Because
plants.
it is a weed, right?
Well, it's weed-like. So
Yeah.
let's take a southern milkweed plant. It can germinate, or the seed can sprout within 7 days. Within a month, it can be a foot tall. Within 3 months, it can be flowering, and soon after that, it creates the pods after the flowers. So these flowers are a prolific nectar source.
And there's like no other plant that the butterflies eat and lay their eggs on.
At least the monarchs. Yeah, they are specific to the milkweed because the milkweed actually protects them. We all know that, beautiful colored monarchs, most of us, maybe some of us know, that they have poisons or toxins inside the milkweed. Now, when people think, oh no, poisons, toxins, oh, these plants are aggressive and they're going to jump out of the ground and hurt you. No. All they do is they give the milkweed a horrible taste. So nothing's really going to eat it except for a monarch. And if something eats a monarch caterpillar, well, that monarch caterpillar that ate only milkweed has a horrible taste itself. So that's going to teach that bird, that lizard, that bullfrog, or whatever is going to eat that caterpillar a lesson and say, you know what, I'm going to skip that meal. That's not a tasty meal. That's off my diet. And that's how the monarchs, survive and protect themselves. That's really their only protection. They don't carry, guns. So, they don't call their congressmen when people spray them with herbicides and pesticides. So their only protection is the bad taste.
I'm yucky tasting.
Yes, that's right. So
that's really
it.
cool.
That's the only way they
that.
protect themselves. They're there. They're very visible. They're very friendly. So if you ever grow, milkweeds, especially now, it'd be very difficult for you not to find monarch caterpillars on them. Which is why we have such a huge success rate for people. We tell them, you don't need to buy caterpillars. You don't need to buy anything. Just get some seeds. We'll even give them to you free. And as a gift to all your listeners, hop to livemonarch.com. There's a free seed page there. So feel free to, get some free seeds on us. My pleasure. I'd be happy to mail them to you. And if you want anything else.
Wow, that's really generous of you. So
we've
they
been
can
doing it for 13 years.
Wow, that's really generous of you.
But,
and
we're not the only people giving away free milkweed seeds.
There are other organizations too.
You're never going to believe who's giving away milkweed seeds now.
Oh yeah, tell us who else is doing that.
The evil Monsanto.
What?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the ones out there that are destroying the butterflies' habitat. They're out there like selling.
They don't just give you milkweed seeds. You get a whole booklet full of propaganda and what I would consider lies. I actually have it in my hand, and it says, "Oh, what is glyphosate? Oh, it's a great thing." Everybody needs this. It's a need. It's herbicide needs to sustainably and effectively eliminate unwanted plants.
This propaganda, and like I see so much of this propaganda going on, Christopher, and they have like a literacy project page, and it's all pro GMO. They're even getting in textbooks. In our kids' textbooks, brainwashing them while they're in elementary school, even saying how great GMOs are. And, of course, they don't mention anything about the pesticides and the glyphosate in the environment and all the rest, Oh, and massive monarch bee die-off. But it's like certain kinds of pesticides. And I was just reading in the news that there is a huge effort, and I want to encourage everyone to join in this effort to talk to your home improvement store. I have done it myself. I talked to the manager. Talk to your home improvement store and say, stop selling these bee and butterfly killing pesticides. And
even the plants, you'd be surprised how crazy it is, prolific, that, big box stores are selling milkweed. And where do they get the milkweed from? From producers that use pesticides and herbicides on them, and then they take them home thinking they're doing something wonderful for the butterflies, and they call me the next week. My caterpillars are all dead. They're all vomiting green stuff. What is that? Well, where'd you get your plant? Oh, did you ask if the plant was covered with a systemic or a topical pesticide? And a lot of times the big box stores don't know, but some people do know, and there are changes happening. But it requires you, the consumer, to not only educate yourself, but say, hey, look, educate the businesses and say, I'm taking my money elsewhere. I'm not going to support you because what you're doing is you're basically murdering wildlife. And we've been on the forefront of that for a long time. You don't have to go and read it in a textbook when you live it. I had a farm right next to a farmer's field, and we still do. And it used to happen when that farmer would spray his crops the day before they were harvested. Any residue or whatever, if the wind was going in the wrong direction, would kill everything on our side. And we're only like 75 feet away.
This is happening, Christopher. I just had the vice president of the California Teachers Association, and what you just said is happening right across the street from elementary school. So here you're talking about the drift of this pesticide having the capacity to kill everything, and yet this is happening even right across the street from our elementary schools and other schools.
It's on you. You know,
that's a really good rule. That's a good rule. I'm going to use that. I'm going to start telling people that.
Yeah, you know, secondhand smoke is bad, but you know what? What were these herbicides and pesticides originally designed, and who designed them? They were designed to kill people.
Really, 95%. They killed 95% of the monarch butterflies. Really, Christopher? That's so depressing.
In that area, you know, there's no law against I love how they always term it, it's a farmer problem. No, it's agribusiness problem. It's not a farmer problem. The farmer's trying to do the best they can and survive, make a profit, and feed their own children. And they're presented with a list of problems, and they're presented with possible solutions. If they're lied to, you can't blame the farmer always. You know, if somebody's not educated or well educated, then you can say, oh, you know what? Well, it's a lack of education. So if you look at where these companies are putting the biggest resources, it's not always in the United States. It's around the world in places where there is no formalized education, where farmers have no clue. You know, there's a wonderful, you want to see some interesting stuff done by top-notch people who have far better credibility than I. Go on YouTube, find out about what's happening in India. The people are committing suicide because they started out with, hey, let's do these wonderful genetically modified seeds. But you know what? Part of that you have to, by law, because you signed a contract, use our pesticides and herbicides. Oh, didn't tell you that it was going to kill every other organism in your field, which now forces you to buy more fertilizer because your soil is now dead. So you're trapped in a continuous spiral of higher cost, lower productivity, and they can't escape it.
Well, you never. It's like you just said. You're in a spiral of lower productivity and dependency, and and the thing is, like for me, every single day I like to think that I'm getting better, and that my environment is getting better. I work on making my house nicer, my yard nicer. You work on your body, whatever. But it's like, these farmers have no chance of their soil getting better. Go ahead.
This is directly from the book they gave out. And it doesn't say that it's from, it doesn't say who created this book. It just says, what is glyphosate? And right here it says, how does the use of herbicide benefit the environment? Well, it shows a simple diagram. It says it improves stuff. It improves soil quality. That's a total lie. It improves the amount of organic matter. That's debatable. It creates better water availability, I guess because it's killing out other weeds, so there's more water in the soil. It creates better water quality, and it creates better air quality. Now, three-fifths of that is, I think, very disingenuous or a lie or a falsehood or just outright criminal to say it. And what does it reduce? It reduces soil erosion somehow. It reduces human labor, absolutely. It reduces fuel consumption, definitely. And what's the big selling point for it also? It reduces machinery wear. So I don't really,
Woo!
yeah.
Woo woo! Such great reasons, and like that organic matter. That is something that I've been reading more about, Christopher, and it is friggin' amazing. Like when you increase the organic matter in the soil on all the great things that happen, including microorganisms activity that makes all kinds of nutrients available to the plant. But not just that, but the water holding capacity of the soil became exponentially just by increasing it like 1%. The capacity
Definitely.
jumped like a huge amount.
Good soil only has 5% carbon in it, or humic acid, or the humates from dead plants. That's a good soil. A good soil is above that. So imagine 4% poor soil, 5% good soil. It doesn't take that much. One of the things that we've done is try to create stress-free, super healthy milkweeds and teach people how to do that. We always ask people to try to use compost. Every day I get an email from somebody that says, "Oh, should I just use the Miracle-Gro soil?" And it'll grow a plant, but it's like giving a little bit of junk food to your plant. It has some of what's required for life. You'll be a nice big fat plant, but you won't have everything necessary for that life. You're always stealing something from the other soil that you have. So
it's like there's missing building blocks. I feel like you're trying to build a house with only half the materials that you need. And how is that going to be a strong, sturdy house that's going to last for a long time? And get this, Christopher, what the plant does when the nutrients aren't in the soil, what does it put in that slot where that missing nutrient is supposed to be?
Yeah.
It puts starch. And so that's another reason why we're seeing this obesity epidemic, is because the plants actually have a higher starch content. And that's because the nutrients are missing from the soil. So the plant's like, okay, well, we need to put something in there. What are we going to do? And it's like, oh, throw some starch in there then. It's like, hey, we've been looking everywhere for that nutrient and it's just not there. I'm sorry, Sarge, not there. Just like that new movies coming out. I've been seeing movies of Inside My Body for years now.
Well, I'd like all your listeners to try to get some milkweed growing, because that's the most important thing. We need to
tell us
monarchs,
how would we start? Okay, we went to your website.
All monarchs are homeless. Okay, they're looking for milkweed in your backyard. That's where they're going to make their home. Okay, they're going to raise their children right under your eyes, and you're going to have a nice experience with nature. That's what we're all about. We're all about giving people an incredible experience, and it's so simple. You plant the seed, the plant grows on its own. As long as you have some water, unless you're not in a super drought environment, unfortunately, California, you might have to take a little bathing water and put it out there from time to time. But your plant will grow. Monarchs will find it. When you see holes in your plants, you'll know you have monarch caterpillars. 18 days, that egg goes from the size of a head of a pin to a 3-inch caterpillar. It's 1,800 times the size in less than 3 weeks. It turns into a pupa, hanging little green jade with gold ring around it, showing that it's the king of the butterflies, the monarch. That's how it gets the name. And after that, it emerges as a beautiful butterfly, about between 7 and 10 days later. And that's what's going to be flying around. That's the adult butterfly. So it's still a butterfly,
How long do they live?
Now, that's a nice thing. Monarchs typically live several weeks to up to 7 or 8 months sometimes, depending upon what stage they're in. See, a lot of the monarchs that you're going to see are hopping out of their chrysalis or pupa, and they're looking for mates right away. The females are, hiding from time to time and landing on the milkweed and laying eggs. The males are searching for females to, grab a hold of and pass on their genetic material to. And monarchs are pretty good. They mate several times with several partners to try to get the best genetic material they can. And she can lay between 200 plus eggs. And that's a great boon for the monarch. So one monarch, if everything goes great, no parasites, no issues, no SUVs knocking them they can have a lot of babies, and they really can regain their numbers quickly. But only if they can find the food sources. Unfortunately, most times they'll lay too many eggs on too few plants because there's just not enough of the milkweed there, and then you have caterpillars fighting each other for the last leaf. But if all goes well, there's typically 2% or better that make it through, so there's always a growing number. If you actually take a little time and help butterflies in your backyard, you can easily turn that from 2% to 90% or better that are as a success rate. And it's super, super simple to do. You just protect them, make sure they have enough food, and it's an easy, wonderful thing, and you get to release the butterfly and have it carry your dreams and wishes up to the great spirit in the sky.
So if you have like 10 milkweed plants in your backyard, like how many butterflies could that be?
Well, it's pretty much mathematical. A caterpillar will eat approximately 20 mid to large sized leaves, depending upon the type of plant. That's how many it'll need to go from a caterpillar into a pupa. After that, it's not eating any more leaves. It just comes back and sips nectar from the flowers or other flowers in your area. So a good rule of thumb is 20 leaves per caterpillar, and that's what a plant can sustain. And, after that, there's a little fight, or hopefully you'll have enough food. So you never really have enough milkweed. There's always going to be more opportunity to have more caterpillars in an area.
Don't they live to be like at least a couple months old?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. So some are mating quickly and, expiring after a couple weeks. But one brood or one life cycle at the end of the season, typically in September, is much larger than the rest. And that's in diapause, which is delayed sexual maturity. Those are the ones that are really doing the long-distance travel. Monarchs are going to follow milkweed and just keep traveling with milkweed. So in the beginning of the year, there might be milkweed in Texas, but they'll have to wait till it gets warmer farther north, because they can't just, zoom all the way up to Canada because it's still snow up there. There's no milkweed to be found. They're going to starve. So they basically take their time and they travel with the prevailing wind, sometimes in the weather, and they keep searching for new areas of milkweed. You have the 5 or 6 different cycles of the monarchs, and that last one is in delayed sexual maturity, comes back and overwinters. And that's the one that we all count on. That's the one that we, can actually tell the numbers of, because it's difficult to do an accurate count of everybody's backyard on the same day and try to figure out how many monarchs there really are. But when they all gather in those small areas, that's the magnificence of the monarch journey for the lucky people who get to see it.
Well, it's almost like a lottery when you're a monarch, Did you get the 2-week, lifespan, or did you get the long one? It's like, I got the short stick. 2 weeks. That's the max I get to be around, but I will do a good job during my 2 weeks. That is like such a cool story. And what I love about this whole project, Christopher, is like so many times people want to make a difference. They want to contribute. And this is like such a perfect way to contribute. And so outside of just being beautiful, are there other things that the monarchs contribute that are important? To me, it's almost kind of a red flag.
They're definitely a canary in a coal mine situation. If you don't have a lot of monarchs in your area and you've had them in the past, you're going to realize quickly that your environment's not so great. Okay, milkweed is also another plant that actually can show you if there is toxins in the environment. It'll grow poorly, or it can have sores on the leaves, and they've found that it happens near coal-burning plants and other things. And there were studies done on this, but again, a lot of these studies are never widely published. And unfortunately, most of the studies that are done on monarchs, or even on milkweed, there's a little bit of a disinformation campaign going on. Well-meaning scientists do a study, find 1,000 things great about the monarchs and milkweed, and 3 things that, some milkweed could actually hurt the monarch under these very strange scenarios. And
oh my gosh.
that's where we find about those strange scenarios of saying, you know what, well-meaning people shouldn't plant milkweed because you're going to trap monarchs in areas of snow, and those caterpillars are going to die needlessly. Well, if a monarch is, flying, trying to get south and it's snowing on it, it ain't going anywhere anyway. And if it's full of eggs, it's not really part of the major migration, because it's not in diapause. It's already, trying to lay eggs. It's not going to survive the winter anyway. So,
and people are so scared of these weeds that are, we hear about these like devil weeds that like won't die, and they become like Roundup resistant, and so they have like this monster weed, in their mind, and they're like, gosh, why would I want to plant another weed in my yard? But tell people what you say to that.
Well, it's food, it's just food that you're not eating. But if you want a monarch, you have to have milkweed. There's no way around it. You can, save them from starving for a day by feeding them pumpkin or cucumber. But if you have caterpillars, they're only going to eat milkweed. That's it. So if you care about monarchs and you care about seeing them fly in the sky, you need to have some milkweed.
You can have butterfly babies, you can make butterfly babies in your yard. I think that's like really cool pastime, actually.
Anybody can do it. Doesn't matter if you're 3 years old or 80 years old.
Well, like kids and like teachers, and you said that I saw that you even have fundraising efforts, so you probably like work with groups. So you encourage like all these people to contact you. I mean, this is your life. This is what you've dedicated your life to.
Well, at least the last 13 years, it's been a major,
well, that's a pretty good chunk. That's a pretty good chunk, Christopher. And we're really grateful for you, because back then you had the vision that we would even get to this point, and it's almost like you hate having that vision.
Yeah, you never want to be right about something like that. But, the writing's on the wall. You know what? Global warming or climate change or whatever you want to call it this week is real. You know what? The monarchs are the first step. The big thing happening with the monarchs is really the drought. Also, the drought is happening to many, many different areas.
Because weeds that would just come up, like if it rained or something like that, these weeds would probably just come up by themselves, right? And without the rain and the water, then weeds that would have came up aren't even coming up.
So, everything corresponds to the same timeline. Over the last, 20 years, there's been a major decline in the monarchs. Over the last 10, there's been a huge decline. And it's the same thing with the, water problems. So, everything goes up the food chain. So there's a problem for the things on the base of the food chain. There's going to be problems for us. And I know a lot of places where there's already major problems for people. So what I'm trying to do with our organization is give everybody a little incentive through actually caring for nature in their own backyard, making them better stewards of their own backyard and the environment on a larger whole, giving people a little bit of education and a little bit of insight, and then getting all these people active later, just like you, to try to change public opinion and really make the big differences.
Well, and you don't want to like be planting the milkweed seeds and then spraying Roundup in your yard. And like how, what is your advice to people, like in general? Because really, that's like the core of the problem too, is, we think about the big ag, but the fact that we're spraying in our own yard, and exposing our neighbors, really.
Everybody contributes to the problem, no matter if you're directly supporting it or not. Indirect support is still, a smaller evil, but, an evil nonetheless. So, do the best you can within your knowledge and continue to, sharpen your own saw. Keep learning. And there's always a better way. So
yeah, that's good advice, because and I have a whole section on our Smart Health Talk website for pesticide-free lawns, and I have a lot of good information there and a lot of good references for people to even like think about that concept. Why can't you have a pesticide-free yard? And a lot of us in California, our lawn is just like nothing but like some brown straw there right now, but
it should be easy sometimes, right?
But I have my garden, And I still water some of my plants that are around the edge, because I know I have to support my local butterflies and bees and other insects. And
And don't forget about the people too. That's the thing is we don't want to become the Walmart of milkweed, where we're the lowest price. We've kept our prices, the same. We try to be very fair, but we don't want to give away everything for free, because then we'll put out of business other producers, and that's really important. We want everybody to become a local producer of milkweed seeds. Just share those for free. You can sell those if you want, but when you have plants or something that requires effort, you know what? It's okay to make a profit, to do other good things with it. Everyone needs to eat, and this is something that you not only can share, but there's nothing stopping people. See, in Florida, a nice milkweed plant, you can get it for around $5. Take that plant to Texas, it becomes a $10 to $15 plant. California, it becomes a $25 plant just because it's not there, and a lot of people aren't, able to find it. So there's a scarcity. So, if there's a profit potential there, great. Guys, do what you need to do. Make money however you need to do it. And
hey, that's actually like a really good idea to make money, because one thing we're doing pretty good in California, especially, and I know it's expanding all over the country, is farmers markets. And, you can sell plants at farmers markets too. And
a lot of people bought, especially Californians, the smart group out there, bought plants for $1 a piece from us, and then, grew them for a month and turned around and sold them for $15. I know.
Hey, I'm getting some ideas.
Now
hey,
that's
a motive,
right?
Hey, incentive and motive, there's nothing wrong with it, because
no, you have to have it.
You do, because we do have to, you got to use your time to survive too. And, you have to think, okay, if I use my time doing this, we all want to do our give back volunteer time. But hey, if you can turn this into a business and create more habitats for butterflies, to make cocoons, then hey, I say that's the kind of business we need to have more of, don't you?
Or just your own enjoyment. Absolutely. Like, look, nature's the best teacher out there. And when a plant creates seeds, it doesn't just create one seed. It creates a whole bunch of seeds typically. And so it says, look, I'm going to make more, and I'm going to get more out there. So that's the neat thing about milkweed too. For, 50, we give away 50 seeds for $1 if you do it as a donation, or even free if you want. But 50 seeds, you can easily get 45 plants without a problem. There'll probably even be more than 50 seeds in the pack. Okay, so you try to go 45 plants, grow those for a couple months. You can easily have thousands of seeds, or make cuttings and make hundreds of plants. And that's all within the same season. So, everybody become a little entrepreneur as far as the monarchs are concerned. Enjoy the monarchs in your own backyard. Enjoy them flying through your neighborhood. Enhance your property values, because that's what happens in Florida. Everybody names their community after, oh, look, we're the butterfly capital of the world or whatever. And it's because they're giving away milkweed and different plants that bring butterflies into their communities, and their property values go up. I wonder why that is. People must like nature.
Well, I tell you, I just felt like one of the richest people on the planet today when I was in my backyard, because I've been working so hard on my yard for like 2 months now, getting my garden in and, keeping plants alive, and they're blooming now. So just to see, this variety of butterflies and bees, and I go in my garage, and now they want to the bees want to move in my garage. But before there used to be more wasp and less bees, but now that I got rid of the wasp, I'm seeing I have a lot more bees too, and getting rid of the ants, extra ants.
Oh, wait, just as a last thing before I have to run, we have beehives on our farm also. We're a pretty small farm, but we have like a couple thousand milkweed plants growing each year. So we had a beautiful beehive that was huge, and it split. So we have tens of thousands of bees looking for a new home. Where do they make their home? 3 feet away, they have a second hive now, right next to the milkweed. So they're there all day long, getting beautiful amounts of nectar, and the honey is delicious, and it's supporting a tremendous amount of bees. So that's wonderful when you can.
So
do
it's like a full
pesticide-free milkweed.
circle. Yeah, it's a full
Yeah.
circle plant. So not only are you helping the butterflies, but you're helping the bees too at the same time. Wow. That is like a double bargain. I love it. Good point, Christopher.
It's good. You know, it's not like it just helping one thing. You know, there's so many butterflies that come through, not just monarchs too. So all of those get to, you know, have the enjoyment of them. You know, it's a beautiful plant. Helps nature. It's good all the way around. So I'm feeling good about it.
Hey, you can make good money off of it, everybody. I'm telling you, people need money in this. They need ways to make money in this area. And what better plant? I mean, you know, I'm sure there are some people around here that are already good at growing weed. And so, and so why not grow some of the milkweed too while you're at it and, you know, do something good for the butterflies. Use that. And you might even have a new income source on the side there. No, but, you know, hey, from $1 to $15, that's still a pretty good profit margin, man. I would take that profit margin any day. So you know, you're one incredible guy, Christopher, and I'm just so glad that you're here with us and all the work that you've done. And you know, you saw the vision and you built this incredible resource for us for low-cost milkweed seed. And you don't just have one kind of milkweed seed; you have different varieties that are native to different parts of the country, so people can choose those. And it's low cost, like free or $1. Come on, everyone. Now tell us the website again, so everyone
It's
knows.
Live Monarch, LiveMonarch.com. You're going to remember that because living monarchs. Dead butterflies aren't any fun, okay? It's Live Monarch.
It's Live Monarchs, everyone. Okay, so hey, think about this. This is a business venture. You know, this could do it. You could do fundraising with it for your group to grow some of this.
Go become milkweed monarch millionaires, all of you.
That's right. And then we're gonna have then we'll be butterfly millionaires all at the same time. So that's a good bargain. Well, I don't want to keep you anymore because I know you had like other things that you had to do, but I really want to thank you for joining us today, Christopher. And I hope lots of people come, and I'll be sure and put a link on our homepage too. Just look for a beautiful butterfly, everyone.
Thanks, Elaine. You have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone. Well, you stuck with me now. How about that? We had fun talking about butterflies, though, didn't we? I mean, I just love this. Hey, Joe. Joe's our engineer here at KCA. So what did you think about that story, Joe?
Absolutely fantastic. Made a lot. Matter of fact, I'm going to do milkweed in my yard.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
You're convinced?
Yes, I am.
All right.
So I'm going to make my contribution to society.
Okay, and I want you to take some pictures of your butterflies too.
I will do that.
And I want to see some butterfly pictures of your butterfly babies.
But you know something? I was surprised to hear that it takes 3 weeks to go from a pinhead to 3 inches.
Yeah, they grow fast, huh?
That's extremely
What did he say?
fast.
Like 1,800 times bigger or something like
Yes,
that? It was like some incredible amount.
Just imagine people doing that.
Well, I got a hug. Thank you. You know, we can, and the thing that I loved about this, Joe, is this is something that every single person out there, you know, I know you think maybe it's hard if you live in an apartment, but hey, if you have like some sort of little outside patio area, even you can grow a milkweed in a pot. And you could still have butterflies right there on your balcony, you know, or, you know, sometimes people have those when they have apartments, just a little space or a little backyard area. And so you can still grow these weeds in pots. You don't have to plant them in the ground. So don't think that keeps you from being able to do that. But what I love about it, you know, little kids, you know, you could get a whole classroom, the teachers out there looking for a great project for their kids in their classroom. How fun would that be if you could grow the milkweed at school and then you could study the evolution into the butterfly?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that would be such a fun project. You could do that at preschools. You know, you could do that at any kind of group, you know, that would be a really fun project to do. And It's kind of like, to me, it's like life. It's just, it's such a beautiful thing of life because you can kind of watch it. It's not too sexual. It's not like a whole lot of sex going on there for that reproduction. Although he did say that they were getting it on like quite a few times.
You
So
won't see it.
yeah, we won't see it. We won't see that part, but he did say they were quite active.
Well, he did say she mates a couple of times looking for the perfect match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you better have your spots and your colors in the right places. You want that female to choose you. Well, you know what? I have something in front of me, Joe, that almost it kind of is like beauty. To me, it's almost. Well, no, I guess it's hard to be as beautiful as a butterfly, but it has the sun on it, and the sun to me is another one of the most beautiful things that we have here on Earth. And one of the reasons the sun is so beautiful is because of all of the great gifts that it gives us. Besides just sunshine and being able to grow our plants and giving us food, it does all of these incredible healthy things for our body. And it kind of upsets me as a dietitian that we've gotten this message out there that it's almost like you can't let the sun touch bare skin anymore. Oh my gosh, you're going to instantly get skin cancer if your skin is ever exposed to real sun without sunscreen on it. And the fact is, we lived quite a few years. I think it was in like the hundreds or thousands of years where we didn't have any sunscreen.
What do you think, Elaine? What do you think the chemical effect on a human body when you put sunscreen 10,000 on would do to you after a period of time?
Well, there is chemicals that are in there, and there's also these nanoparticles. And nanoparticles means that it's been broken into such a small, tiny particle that when you put it on your skin, it's absorbed through your pores readily. And there's a big controversy about these nanoparticles and a good example is if you have a high SPF, but it isn't white, and that titanium oxide is very white, but if they break this up into these small particles, it won't be all white. It'll disappear into your skin, and that's what people want. They don't want the white nose, right? So that's why they started even working on these nanoparticles, but they actually get into your bloodstream. And so it's taking these chemicals that are in the sunscreen and like allowing them to be absorbed into the skin, under the skin, and into the bloodstream. And so then you're introducing something inside your body that is a total foreign chemical that doesn't belong there. And these things, there really is a big question mark. I mean, who's studying this stuff? The people that are making the sunscreens, they're not looking for things to be wrong with their sunscreen. They don't want to look further on all the things that are happening. And so this worries me. And I, first of all, encourage people to be very, very careful. The Environmental Working Group, EWG, they are a great resource for a list of safe sunscreens. They're kind of a go-to for that. That's something they've specialized in and done a lot of testing to give people a good resource for that. And I encourage people to check that list before you go and buy a sunscreen. And it's actually kind of a big expense, many of these sunscreens. But I have an alternative here because I think people are starting to learn that vitamin D is important. And we actually have an epidemic of vitamin D deficiency now because of sunscreen. Because people make vitamin D in their skin when they're exposed to sun. And there's a lot of, it isn't just, you go out there and you make vitamin D. There are different things involved. And the angle that your body is compared to the sun is a biggie on how much vitamin D you're making, how quickly. And I have some products here in front of me that are designed to help people to have safe sun. And there's a UV index. There's apps available for the UV index that will tell you when it's above 2 If the UV index is above 2, it's not very safe. But you can still go out and not have sunscreen on and make vitamin D in a safe sun environment where it's just like a 1 or a 2. So another thing that we can do is nature did bring us different ways that we can protect our skin. And aloe vera is probably something that a lot of people have heard of. It's a cactus. It survives in the friggin' desert. It has a gel in it that we think, oh, burns, healing. And that's true. It's like an incredibly complex mechanism inside the aloe. It has all these like different workers in there that are able to, it has salicylic acid, which actually breaks through like dead skin and gets into the lower layers. It has ligand that is almost like a ferry or a carrier that transports nutrients to the place you need it, gets them there faster. And then the range of nutrients, polysaccharides, all of these things that are incredibly healing, they rebuild, they give your body the nutrients they need to make new cells, to repair damage, especially, and prevent aging, which is something I think people are really wanting. I mean, I definitely want the anti-aging, okay? I want the anti-aging.
Yeah, but you don't.
Who doesn't want the anti-aging? So the thing is, like the aloe that we have in sun oxidants, and that's SUNOXIDANTS, and it's like, antioxidants. And antioxidants donate an electron. The bad guys are missing an electron, and so antioxidants donate it, so they stop the process of damage. And our aloe has it's 10 times concentrated, plus we have the gel. And if you go on Amazon and you type in SUN space, because they couldn't seem to, they're helping me, we're going to fix that, but SUN space OXIDANTS, if you put ion charged minerals in front of it with spaces, you'll find it even easier. But we have a $4 off coupon right now. Huge sale, and you help our show, and you can have some incredible aloe or aloe gel very soon. We have got the shipments over to them. We have some grapeseed oil and another oil that has grapeseed, pomegranate, and jojoba. Those three together are some of the highest antioxidant concentrations in nature. So what you can do is, I have a big 16-ounce trigger bottle that is incredible for doing your whole body. You take a shower, you get out of the shower, you spray your whole body down with aloe, 10 times concentrated, get some of the oil and just a little bit of the oil and put that on, and the jojoba actually seals moisture in your body. These oils are they're kind of like soldiers just sitting there protecting your skin, making sure no invaders get in, ready to heal if necessary, to do whatever, and also to protect your skin from radiation damage from the sun. So you put this on and your skin will feel incredible. It sinks into your skin within minutes. You don't even know it's there. You just know it feels soft and supple, and it's also protecting your skin with antioxidants. So it's good for every day, but it's excellent when you're in the sun trying to make vitamin D. There's actually a lot more that happens when you're in the sun. We're going to talk about in the future. And please go look for that sun oxidants, everyone, on Amazon. And please buy lots of it, okay? Because it helps to support our show. And please visit us at smarthealthtalk.com and find us on social media, Smart Health Talk, no spaces, and we're on all of it. So please go and find us and join us every Thursday, 4 o'clock, right here on Smart Health Talk. Find our podcasts on kcaaradio.com. And don't forget about your health, and please buy organic, okay? Be an organic forager. That's my new fight song. Be an organic forager. Find that organic food. Take care of your body. Love yourself. You deserve it. All right. Take care. Bye.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. A big rally on Wall Street today, setting a new record closing high for the NASDAQ composite. The Dow soaring 180 points, the NASDAQ up 68. That followed a round of strong economic data about jobless claims, consumer inflation, U.S. factory activity, and leading economic indicators, as well as the Fed's decision yesterday to keep benchmark interest rates unchanged at record lows. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is now the majority owner of ketchup giant H.J. Heinz, just ahead of Heinz's planned acquisition of Kraft Foods. For the first time in decades, perhaps ever, struggling McDonald's says it plans to close more restaurants in the U.S. this year than it'll open.